All right, ladies and gentlemen, feds and degenerates, cuckolds of all ages, it's that time once again. It's time for Mild's Culture Plate. I am your host, Mild Kevin Miles, and it is Saturday, April 6th, 2024, and we have a doozy of a show for you folks. I'm actually going to have you hang on just real quick. Let me bring up the theme song again real quick. I just need to make a quick fix to my equipment here for just a second here. Actually, let me just bring myself down. I'll let you look at the American flag. Okay, sorry folks. Yeah, I didn't get it fixed. It's gonna be too bad. So the windscreen on my mic isn't fully attached. So I'm sorry if my breaths pick up. You're probably gonna hear that a bit today because yeah, the damn windscreen's all fucked up. I can try to do something else with it here, but anyway. Uh so as always, anyone that comes in says hello in the chat or joins the chat and starts chatting with us, I will give you a toast. Still drinking the Egan's Irish whiskey. It's been working out for me. It's pretty tasty, so I like it. I'm gonna keep drinking it. So yeah, come on in, say hello. We'll drink it. We'll take a shot together or take a little sip together. Cheers and welcome. Welcome. I'm assuming that the reason why nobody's popped in the chat and said hi yet is everyone's over there watching WrestleMania. I guess this is WrestleMania weekend. Get the WrestleMania. Yeah, brother. Okay. Anyway, so we're going to be mostly doing a show about the end times. It's going to be a normal Saturday show. We'll be doing various news articles as well. And we'll start with this one. I got to wait for a refresh here. Okay. We'll start with this one here. Okay, we've got, and oh, of course, I didn't reset the background here. Okay, we have a judge in New York City tossing a squatter's lawsuit claiming rights to a $930,000 home after they tried using a Shake Shack receipt to prove that the home was theirs. A judge has dismissed a lawsuit brought by a pair of alleged squatters who sued the owners of a Queens home after cops escorted them off the property last month. The case is over, the couple's attorney told reporters outside Queens Civil Court on Friday, shortly after Judge Vijay Kitson discontinued the case with prejudice, meaning the claim cannot be refiled. The landlords, the owners, the house, they have possession. The people who said they were locked out have walked away from the situation. They are no longer requesting to be restored to possession and will still have their stuff, she said. Two of the men did not show up for their scheduled court. The two men did not show up for their scheduled court appearance. Well, there you go. There you go. You don't show up for court, chances are they'll ding you on it. Sangland 86 said, not. I'm assuming he's saying nah, not watching WrestleMania, but he says nah, just a rough day. LOL. Cheers. Welcome, brother. Anyway, I'm gonna stop right there. You see this right here in the middle of the screen? I don't know if you can see my mouse here. You see this here in the middle of the screen? I have seen no fewer than like 8 hit pieces on Lauren Boebert this week. So yeah, they're saying she was cut off by a bartender at the Trump fundraiser. Anyway, yeah, I'm not going to continue reading this because right there, that's the story. The two men did not show up for their scheduled court appearance. So yeah, but I will read this paragraph here. In their filing, the alleged squatters identified in court records as Lance Hunt and Rondi Francis presented a range of evidence, including a signed lease agreement, several pieces of mail addressed to the home, and even a fast food delivery receipt, all dated within the time frame the men claimed to be living there. The unusual legal standoff began in March when the company's real estate broker, Jonah Bardhi, discovered the two unknown men were occupying the Jamaica home, and changed the lock. Is there a Jamaica, New York? She called the police when they arrived. Rondi and Hunt claimed they'd been living in the Lakewood Avenue duplex for months. Oh, okay. Unable to provide proof, the men left the premises without incident. However, they returned the next day and said there was a lease agreement they'd signed to rent the home. Fullman and Curryland denied this, saying they'd already rented it out to other families. The couple presented officers with paperwork proving they were the rightful owners and timestamp surveillance footage showing that the house had been vacant since January. Cops escorted the men from the property and the couple changed the locks. Upon entering, they said they'd found signs of damage, including scuffed up floors, scratches on the wall, and strong odor of marijuana. Okay. So, yeah, we're not going to necessarily continue reading this. This is another clickbaity title. The Shake Shack receipt was only part of the evidence here. You know, they had apparently a forged lease agreement. And yeah, it wasn't dismissed for the Shake Shack receipt. It was dismissed because they didn't show up for fucking court. So, yeah, screw this article. Screw you, New York Post. Okay, we're going to move on. Earlier today, there was yet another mall shooting. Security guard killed, officer and 6 others injured in a Florida shooting. The suspect is also dead, according to police. A security guard was shot dead, and a responding officer and 6 others suffered gunshot wounds after an altercation Saturday at a Miami area commercial establishment broke out, and a person pulled out a firearm, according to Doral police. The suspect is dead as well. A security guard employed by the business intervened in the altercation. The subject then pulled out a firearm and shot him, according to Miami-Dade police. Police said they'd responded to the scene and a gunfight broke out. 2 officers discharged their firearms during the incident. 1 officer was shot in his lower extremity and the suspect was killed, according to Miami-Dade police. The security guard and suspect were pronounced dead at the scene. 6 other bystanders were struck with gunfire and transported to area hospitals in various conditions, according to police. Miami-Dade Fire Rescue responded to the scene and transported the officer to JMH Ryder Trauma Center, where he was listed in a stable condition, and a bystander was transported to HCA Kendall Trauma Center in critical condition. One of the victims were transported to JHM Emergency Center, and the remaining victims were transported to HCA Kendall Emergency Center, all listed in stable condition. This is a developing story. Check back for updates. Thank you, ABC News, for that story. Okay, in other news, Senator from Politico, Senator Bernie Sanders' office in Vermont has caught fire. Arson is suspected, but the motive is unclear. Police in Vermont are seeking a suspect who allegedly started a fire Friday outside the office of U.S. Senator Bernie Sanders. The small blaze caused minor damages but no injuries. Authorities say an unknown suspect sprayed what they described as a possible accelerant on the office door and set it afire and fled. The suspect remained at large and no motive had been established. A significant fire engulfed the door and part of the vestibule, impeding the egress of staff members who were working in the office and endangering their lives. The sprinkler system then engaged and largely extinguished the fire, said the Burlington Police. Earlier that day, the Burlington Police Department said it responded to a call Friday morning and found a fire between the vestibule, elevator, and the entrance door of the third floor office in Burlington. The office door suffered moderate fire damage, and much of the third floor sustained significant water damage. The offices of Sanders and nearby offices were evacuated. A spokesperson for Sanders did not immediately respond to requests for comment. Sanders was not at his office. Okay, folks, we got something serious to talk about. Speaking of fucking crooked politicians, how do you folks feel about this current Speaker of the House? Because I'm not fucking impressed, right? When the whole switcheroo happened a few months back, and Republicans went through several vote ballots to try to find us a new Speaker of the House. And then this is the guy they came up with. I had high hopes, like not super high. I knew this was a compromise in some way. But I am seriously upset. From the Hill, Speaker Johnson urges competing factions to back the House's FISA bill. Speaker Johnson is pitching colleagues on the chamber's latest proposal to extend the nation's warrantless surveillance powers, warning of the urgent deadlines and a risk of Senate intervention. The Reforming Intelligence and Surveillance Act, unveiled Friday, would extend Section 702 of the FISA Act, which allows the government to spy on quote-unquote non-citizens quote-unquote located abroad. I'm not even going to read the rest. That's literally all you need to know. That's literally all you need to know, is that Speaker Johnson wants warrantless spying, and wants the Republicans to fall in line to back warrantless spying. Oh, from Fox 11 in Los Angeles. Burglary crew allegedly nets up to $30 million in one of the largest heists in LA history. It's being called one of the largest cash heists in LA history. On Easter Sunday, a burglary crew allegedly broke into a vault of a money storage facility in the San Fernando Valley and got away with up to $30 million. The burglars reportedly broke into the Garda World facility located near the intersection of Roxford and San Fernando and Silmar, either through the side of the building or the roof, and managed to open a vault where cash was being stored without setting off any alarms. The crew was so stealthy and malicious that no one even noticed the money was gone until Monday, when employees opened the vault, which showed no obvious signs of break-in. Garda World has branches worldwide, blah, 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 blah. On Thursday, officials with the LA police said they are doing a joint investigation with the FBI. No arrests have been announced. The theft comes nearly 2 years after 100 million in jewels and other valuables were stolen from a Brinks truck at a truck stop. Thieves have not been caught for that. Demon's Wrath said inside Gerb. Yeah, there is no way. There is no way you're going to get into a vault without setting off alarms, cameras, nothing. Nothing. Sorry, I keep banging this damn thing. It's fallen off. Sorry about the audio issues, folks. Cheers to Demon's Wrath. That was my drink. Sorry. Okay. We're going to do two more, and then we'll get into some of the end times talk. So yeah, thank you, Demon's Wrath, for the chat. Okay, we got USA Today. New York City will pay $17.5 million to settle a lawsuit alleging that women were forced to remove their hijabs in mugshots. The city agreed Friday to pay $17.5 million to settle a class action lawsuit that alleged police officers forced two women to remove hijabs while mugshot photos were being taken, lawyers for the women said Friday. The case, filed in 2018, stemmed from the arrests of Muslim American women Jamila Clark and Arwa Aziz. In court records, they alleged New York City police officers threatened them to remove their headscarves, and the two felt ashamed after being forced to do so. When they forced me to take off my hijab, I felt as if I were naked, Clark said. I can't not do it in an Irish accent. I try to do these foreign accents, and it just comes out Irish because I got the Irish in me. I'm sorry, especially the Irish whiskey in me. I'm not sure if words can capture how exposed and violated I felt. The settlement announced Friday still requires approval by U.S. District Judge Torres in federal court in New York. Clark and Aziz's attorney, Andrew Wilson, said forcing someone to remove religious clothing is akin to a strip search. A little bit of a reach. I mean, it's a First Amendment violation, sure, but it's not the same as making someone get naked. Come on now. The women alleged removal of their hijabs for booking photographs violated their First Amendment rights as well as federal religious protections. A milestone for New Yorkers' privacy and religious rights, said Albert Fox Khan, director of Surveillance Technology Oversight Project, a civil rights group that provided legal representation for the plaintiffs. The NYPD should never have stripped these religious New Yorkers of their head coverings and dignity. This wasn't just an assault on their rights, but on everything the city claims to believe in. Okay, I'm not going to get into this whole list of... Oh, but we will come down here. Part of the agreement, the city prepared a class list of people who had their religious head covering removed, according to court records. Attorneys estimate the proposed settlement could make over 3,600 people eligible for payments between $7,000 and $13,000. They encouraged anyone who had their head coverings removed for a mugshot between March of 2014 and August of 2021 to also file. Notice of the settlement would go out to people identified in police records. Information would be available in English, Arabic, Bengali, Spanish, Urdu, and Hebrew. All right. So NYPD getting super crazy here. One thing I was thinking here, so if the Surveillance Technology Oversight Project is getting involved, DNL Mentor says, wow, if you're Muslim, you don't need to follow the rules like everyone else. I mean, you can still get a picture of your face taken. And this is what I was about to talk about here with this Surveillance Technology Oversight Project. I think if they're getting involved and paying for lawyers, I think part of the issue here is that so if a lady wears the religious thing in public, okay, but you're having them take it off for the specific purpose of uploading that image into a database that could later be used for facial recognition purposes, then to me there's this extra layer of okay, well, now you're asking me to submit to adding to your database that may identify someone else incorrectly as me if I'm only going out in public with this covering on, right? you're not going to need to identify me without my covering on because I'm always going to be in public with my covering on. It's kind of like people who get their driver's license taken with their glasses on. I mean, I guess that doesn't happen very often because you get the little glasses thing on it, but all too often that kind of identifying thing needs to happen. I personally don't see a problem. But I also don't see a problem with other people who dress a certain way in public every day, being allowed to take those kind of photos. They're still in public. Well, you believe they will always be in public with the hair. Well, I mean, they may or may not, but again, if they're making that request to the police, it's almost in the same vein as the disability dogs, right? How it's illegal to say, hey, I don't know if that's a service animal. Can you prove it? No, no, they don't have to prove it. You have to prove it's not. And it's one of those things where it's kind of unfortunate that those laws exist, but to not allow them to exist is violating someone's First Amendment right, I think. Okay, so here we go. Check this out. Biden may have trouble getting on Ohio's general election ballot, state's top election official warns. In a letter to Ohio's Democrat Party chair, Secretary of State Frank LaRose warns that the DNC will take place after the state deadline to declare a candidate. Now, we don't need to read any further. This is it. This is the whole story. They're going to go on and on, blah, 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 blah. Okay, no, yeah. Well, the Democrat National Convention will take place after the state deadline to declare a candidate. Someone in Ohio just isn't doing their job right. And so, Biden may not be on the ballot. Now, I've heard some conspiracy theories. Male Muslim terrorists never wear burqas. I mean, that's no, but they wear other things. But anyway, I've heard conspiracy theories that this may be a sign that they're going to pull a bait and switch at the DNC convention. This may be, further shenanigans here. I don't know if I buy that, but anything's possible. Anything is possible. Okay, so now let's get into the doom and gloom. Let's get into the end times. We have a whole slew of stories to talk about with the end times. Okay. A lot of people think that various things are signs and prophecies being fulfilled. A lot of people are nervous about certain things that have been happening or that are planned to happen over the next couple of weeks. But there's one thing in particular that I think is so important, and that is this from NPR. McDonald's says it's buying back all of its franchises from Israel. The franchisee that owns and operates 225 McDonald's in Israel is now selling them back to the corporation, it announced Thursday. For more than 30 years, Elonial Limited has been proud to bring the Golden Arches to Israel and serve our communities. The CEO, Omri Padan, said, "We've grown the brand to be the leading and most successful restaurant chain in Israel and are grateful to our management, employees, suppliers, and customers who made this possible. There have been widespread boycotts of the company after McDonald's Israel donated meals to the Israeli military. Other American brands such as Coke, Pepsi, and Starbucks have also faced boycotts, particularly in Jordan, which has a large Palestinian population. Uh, Alonial Limited's restaurants employ more than 5,000 employees who will be able to retain their jobs. So McDonald's is taking back control of their Israeli temples. Now, of course, I was just joking about that being a sign of the end times. But we had an East Coast tragedy this week from the AP. New York City skyscrapers are built to withstand most earthquakes. Now, this is going to go on and on about buildings. I just basically brought this up to talk about the earthquake. A lot of people are concerned that, you know, this one earthquake is a sign that we're going to get more, that we're going to see more natural disasters. There was a Senate candidate, I believe, who made a reference to, well, this is why we need to do something about climate change, not understanding that earthquakes are geology, not the weather, not atmospheric. Sanglet 86 says it outright. I'm assuming you mean the Bible outright says you can't know the day, live and work normally until it's all over. No one should have died over this. Yeah. But, we do have some things that people are worried about in this. And so we have this solar eclipse coming up Monday. And everyone's hype over the solar eclipse. And a lot of people are talking about, well, the solar eclipse could mean something more esoteric. And we know that those who are in charge of the geopolitical landscape of our future believe strongly in astrology. Let's see here. And, to further prove that, we have this story that's, about a week old. NASA launching 3 sounding rockets into space during the total eclipse. From USA Today here. NASA is preparing to launch 3 giant rockets toward the sun on the same day that it will be fully eclipsed by the moon. Sky gazers will be eagerly awaiting the moment where the moon completely blocks the sun, but keen observers in Virginia, or those just tuning into NASA's online live stream, may also catch those rockets thundering into outer space on their way to the moon's shadow. Fear not, the U.S. agency isn't launching any sort of attack against the sun, but is rather hoping to gather some valuable scientific data on how solar eclipses alter the upper atmosphere. The rockets have previously been launched and recovered in October during the annular solar eclipse, a similar celestial event that was distinct for the Ring of Fire. This time, the rockets have been refurbished with new instrumentation. The ionosphere forms the boundary between the Earth's lower atmosphere and the vacuum of space. Studying its short term changes during an eclipse is difficult to do with other instrumentation like satellites, which are unlikely to cross into the eclipse's path. Understanding the ionosphere and developing models to help us predict disturbances is crucial to making sure our increasingly communication dependent world operates smoothly. Uh, Barjata said, that's the engineering physicist at Florida's Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University. Okay, so we're not going to get too much more into the eclipse, but NASA wants to fire rockets into space to study the ionosphere. Okay, also happening on April 8th, Monday, we have a horned comet that might be visible during the eclipse. From space.com, an unusual horned comet is now visible in the night sky and may even make a rare appearance during the solar eclipse on April 8th. Sanglan 86 says, yeah, got to remember to play the album Dark Side of the Moon. Blu-ray is really good. Hee hee. Yes. I'm more of a Shine On You Crazy Diamond fan. Wish You Were Here album. An unusual horned comet is now visible in the night sky, and it may even make a rare appearance during the 2024 solar eclipse on April 8th. Comet 12P Pons Brooks can currently be seen in the night skies of the northern hemisphere. Okay. Observists observed from Comet 12P give it a horn like appearance, earning the nicknames such as Devil Comet and Millennial Falcon. So here we have a Devil Comet, and some people are saying that that's a sign we're going to see devils. I don't put a lot of faith in many of these end time prophecies. I really don't. But we're going to jump from that one to another one. From CBS News, hypersexual zombie cicadas that are infected with STD fungus expected to emerge this year. Trillions of cicadas will emerge across several U.S. states this spring in an event dubbed Cicadageddon. Not only are more cicadas than usual expected this year, but some of them will be zombie cicadas that are infected by a sexually transmitted fungus that makes them hypersexual. Periodical cicadas spend most of their lives underground and only emerge after 13 or 17 years. This year, 2 broods will emerge. Brood 19, which comes out every 13 years, will emerge in Georgia in the southeast. And Brood 13, which emerges every 17 years, will appear in Illinois. With this convergence, the bugs will arrive in numbers that have not been seen in generations. Matthew Casson, an associate professor of mycology and forest pathology of Virginia University, says both of these broods can be infected by a fungal pathogen called Massospora cicadina. Once the cicadas emerge from the ground, they molt into adults, and within a week to 10 days, the fungus causes the backside of their abdomens open up. A chalky white plug erupts out, taking over their bodies and making their genitals fall off. This isn't transmittable to humans, is it? This is scary as fuck. Would you rather have that white nub for a penis? Oh, the cicada continues to participate in normal activities like it would if it were healthy. Like it tries to mate, it flies around, walks on plants, yet a third of his body has been replaced by fungus. That's kind of bizarre. Kazan told CBS News. Kazan said the reason cicadas might be able to ignore the fungus is that it produces an amphetamine, which could give them stamina. So horny, dickless cicadas on amphetamines are going to go nuts. There's this hypersexualized behavior. So males, for example, they'll continue to try to mate with females unsuccessfully because, again, their back end is a fungus, but they'll also pretend to be females to get males to come get them. I can't. Atrazine, folks. Atrazine. Where's Alex Jones when you need him? No, I don't think this is atrazine. This is clearly the fungus. They're turning the frickin' cicadas gay. Usually, male cicadas will let out a loud humming sound to attract female cicadas, and the female will lick her wings to signal she wants to mate. But the fungus has males licking their wings like females to attract males and in turn infect them. Oh my god. This article, there's so many things. We're on YouTube. There's so many things I can't say that I want to say right now. There is, you want a sign of the end times. When there's something wrong with the bugs, but the humans participating in the same behavior are hashtag normal and born this way. Ooh. In that way, the fungus is sexually transmittable, so it spreads like an STD. Casson said where the fungus originates is still unclear. A lot of this is still unclear because there's a lot that happens below our feet. Fungus usually needs a host like an insect to carry the spores and spread the infection, then it kills the host. It is suspected that Massospora cicadina fungus lays dormant for years and then begins to become a puppet master when the cicadas reach adulthood, Casson said. Because this is such a bizarre life cycle for an insect, the fungus has had to change its strategy, so basically it keeps the host alive long enough to maximize dispersal, he said. It is unclear how the fungus would affect other wildlife or humans, but Kazan said in his research he's observed thousands of compounds in infected cicadas, and some could be toxic. We know that a lot of animals are gobbling these cicadas up as they're emerging, snakes and birds. It is possible they're having an effect on the animals that eat them. Yes, it's possible, he said. Less than 5% of cicadas are infected with the fungus, and researchers have yet to observe impact on other wildlife. Casson urges people not to eat the cicadas or kill them, but take photos if they see the fungus on the bugs and share them with science communities to help researchers. Single 86 is worthless meth heads. It was Fucci and Ray Epps. Yes, they're turning the cicadas gay. They're giving the cicadas gay AIDS. They make their dick fall off. Wow. So also happening on Monday from the Daily Mail, CERN to test world's most powerful particle accelerator during April's solar eclipse to search for invisible matter that secretly powers our universe. I'm not going to read this. I'm not going to read this. I don't want to know. I literally don't want to know. Oh, hey, we got Ya Fat Fucka over on Rumble. You new here? What's quick rundown on what you do? Okay, so what I usually do is I'll do a show where I talk about a few news articles at the beginning of the show. Today is a little different. This isn't like a normal show for me. Usually I just talk about a couple of news articles and then I'll get into some viral videos where I give my opinion. And I'll usually talk about these things as they relate to media coverage and the way people lie and the way they use language as a weapon. And then sort of toward the end of the show, we get into more lighthearted topics and viral videos. And then we have sort of some special segments at the end of the show. And then we wrap up. So yeah, it's usually an hour-long show. We might go a little long today just because we still have a few things to cover before I jump over to the Love Does Admonish segment, which I would highly recommend you stick around for. But anyway, I also give toast to anyone who shows up in the chat that I haven't seen. So you fat fucka, welcome and good to see you. Cheers. And we have Apocryphal World Records. Good to see you there, brother. All right. Thank you all for showing up. Yes, Singlet 86 says, news while laughing to prevent and kill. Yeah, AWR says, yeah, cheers, gentlemen. Okay. Yeah, I'm not going to read this because, yeah, we all know, I'm assuming we all know, because I've covered the Large Hadron Collider before, smashing atoms together, but they're going to kick it back on during the eclipse. So we got the Hadron Collider. We have rockets being fired into the sky during the eclipse, and then we have all this other stuff going on. We also have from Time Magazine, is it safe to eat eggs and chicken during the bird flu outbreak? The ongoing outbreak of bird flu has infected at least one person in the U.S. has raised questions about how safe poultry and eggs are to eat right now. So far, there have been no reported cases of spread among people or of a person contracting this strain of H5N1 from contaminated egg or poultry products, according to the CDC. Okay. Yeah. So I'm not going to read all that. Pretty much, yeah, it's safe to eat the food. Don't be afraid of bird flu. But here we have yet another disease outbreak. You fat fucker says, I've been exercising today, so I'm more like sweaty lard. Yeah, since this appears to be your first time here, I was 80 pounds heavier back in September. I've also been on the workout regimen and the diet, and probably sometime after the show tonight, I'm going to be hitting the treadmill myself. So, from cows, or from bird flu to cows, we got the red heifers. You folks familiar with the red heifer prophecies? Red heifers needed for the temple arrive. A Christian farmer in Texas raised the prized heifers, which are essential for priests to serve in the temple. 5 perfectly red heifers required for the ritual purification of those who have touched a dead body arrive in Israel from a ranch on Texas on Thursday as the Temple Institute continues preparation to lay the ground for the construction of the third temple in Jerusalem. The heifers are all under 1 year old and they remain 100% red and avoid any blemishes that which would disqualify them. They will be eligible to be used to create the ashes required by Jewish law to purify those who have been in contact with a dead body, explained the Temple Institute on Monday. This level of purification would be needed in order to allow the Kohanim to carry out their work in a future temple. The prized cattle were immediately transported to Haifa, where they will sit in quarantine for no less than 7 days. After the quarantine, they will be released to 2 separate locations in Israel. One will eventually be open to the public. They will be fed and cared for at these locations until they can be slaughtered and rendered into ashes from their 3rd year onwards. Now, obviously, this isn't this article here is back from September of 2022. So they're reaching about 3 years, right? They will be 3 years old pretty soon. Well, they're 1.5 now, almost 2. So yeah, but this isn't happening this week. But a lot of people have been talking about, yeah, it may happen. A lot of people are saying, the timeline for the end times, right? The timeline for the end times and the construction of the temple, it happens. It's not an instantaneous end times. Now, some people think, yeah, we're going to have the rapture, and then it will all kind of happen fast for those who are able to be saved and removed. But a lot of people think we'll have to go through a lot of suffering first. And the fact that that's 3 years away, yeah, maybe, just maybe this whole eclipse thing is just the beginning of the end. Who knows? Like I said, I don't take a lot of stock in end time prophecies, but a lot of weird prophetical things are happening right now. CBS News, Iran vows deadly suspected Israeli airstrike on the consulate in Damascus, quote, will not go unanswered. Iran and one of its proxies vowed Tuesday to respond to a strike widely attributed to Israel that demolished Iran's consulate in the Syrian capital of Damascus, killed 13, including 2 Iranian generals. Iran's state TV reported Tuesday that the country's Supreme National Security Council met late Monday and decided on a required response to the strike. The cowardly crime will not go unanswered, Raisi said on his office's website, according to Agence France Presse. AFP reports that Ayatollah Khamenei said on his official website that Israel will be punished for the attack. AWR said, I talked about exercising this morning on your channel. Go check out Apocryphal World Records channel on Rumble. We got Shut Up I Can Cook in the chat. Welcome, sister. Good seeing you. Cheers. How dare you? I'm going to sleep. Well, thank you for the announcement. So, yeah, a lot of people say that a war between Israel and Iran, U.S. preparing, from CNN, U.S. preparing for significant Iran attack on U.S. or Israeli assets in the region. This'll get us into full-blown world war. Full-blown world war. Okay, so that's the end of the end times talk. I just want to wrap it up by saying, folks, we've had prophets warning us that the convergence of this thing and that thing and this thing all happening at the same time means the world's definitely going to end. Yeah, we're not like Sanglant said earlier. Sanglant says hello, Cookie. Like Sanglant said earlier, not hello, Cookie. Sanglant said earlier, we're not going to know when it's going to happen. We have to live our life as we normally would, and I'm sure you all will. These things are fun to explore the thought of, right? The internet loses their fucking mind. But to be honest, um, it's not all bad. And I wish I had time on this show to play. There was a video today on Tucker Carlson's Rumble channel where he was with a guest who basically said, yeah, as bad as things are, there are these trends that show the people are coming together and starting to agree after all these years of division and all these years of us being lied to by the government and media. He's seeing where people on each side of the issue who have hated each other for years are starting to realize that these globalist entities are the real enemy, and they're coming together. That the people are starting to notice how they're getting fucked, and they're coming together. So as bad as things are, as much as the end time prophecies, as much as these scary things are happening, understand that we're all one world of loving people, and that we get through it together, and that in times of real tragedy, people do come together. Shut up, I can cook. Shut up, I can cook says hi to Sanglant, and then says my honey. Says mild, love the hair with no hat. Thank you. I appreciate it. Also wearing a nice shiny shirt and tie. Because I went out to a meetup today. Okay, so now that we're done with talking about end times, let's get to one of the biggest false prophets right now. So we have this person. Once again, there are calls that this video is yet another staged video, but our favorite activist, celebrity, protester in Europe got arrested. Look at her smiling. Yeah, make sure to get the camera in my face. Oh, look at that. See?
We are here because we are facing an existential crisis. We are in a planetary emergency.
How
and we are
dare
not
you.
going to stand by and let people lose their lives and livelihood and be forced to become climate refugees when we can do something.
Lady, there are fucking rockets and earthquakes and fucking everything we just talked about. Cicadas with dick AIDS, and you're still pushing the climate change. Some people just have no fucking. And there are things we didn't talk about as far as end times. There are sufferings we didn't talk about. Like this. Check this out. Colorado going to shut power off for 55,000 customers due to high wind and fire. Okay. We got a Dutch woman. New York Post here. Dutch woman decides to be euthanized at the age of 28 due to crippling depression and mental health issues. You know, I'm not getting into. Pippi always has a smile on her face. Greta got to play that part. Yeah. Soraya Terbeek, who lives in a small village in the Netherlands near the German border, is scheduled to be euthanized in May despite being in love with her 40-year-old boyfriend and living with 2 cats. Yep, just kill me just because, nothing's wrong with me. I'm just depressed. Girl, do some push-ups. All right, folks. So when I was looking for the Love Don't Judge, the Love Does Admonish segment, when I was looking for a video for Love Don't Judge, normally I try to get the craziest one, but you know me, I also like, I mean, if you've been watching for any amount of time, you also know that I like when they play games with the language. Now, this is what I was talking about earlier uh, to Yafat Fuka. You know, these people in the media, they like to do certain things with language. And it's like the way they phrase things can always tell on them what their intent was. And so every other episode of Love Don't Judge that we've covered here on the show have had very specific titles that's like, they hate me for being gay, right? Or something like that. This one, oh, sorry. Man, I keep banging that thing. This one, the title was a little more vague. And I'm curious to know why. I have not watched this. I have no idea other than this chick might be a little fugly. I don't know. I'll have to get y'all's opinion. But we'll see. We'll see why they decided to cover this on Love Don't Judge. So, for those that are new here, I do this segment called Love Does Admonish, where we go on this YouTube channel called Love Don't Judge. And this YouTube channel called Love Don't Judge has all these videos of these people in weird relationships. And they're telling us why they shouldn't get as much internet criticism as they get. But oftentimes, there's this little hidden something about thou doth protest too much, right? It's almost like they're like, no, I'm totally not like the thing you say, except for these little ways in which I am exactly like the things you say. So, but this one this week is a little different than their normal. I mean, I'm assuming it will be just because they're hiding something behind the title. And I want to see what that is. I'm curious what that is. I have no idea. Let's cover this together. This is She's Not a Disgrace, She's My Wife. Love Don't Judge. So we'll see if these people need admonished.
This is Kelly. She fell in love with Harjot.
That was a good pickup line.
Yeah.
Kelly looking like she ended Apollo Creed's life.
Yeah.
I would describe it as love at first sight. We were already discussing marriage by like the second or third
second
date.
date we were.
Their love carried them down the aisle in less than 2 months of meeting. But their fast-track wedding wasn't met with the support they'd hoped for.
So in terms of his family, I didn't know it was going to be so hard.
She showed him Bob's and Vagine.
And moving back to Harjot's home country has brought additional problems to the surface.
Hey!
Can the couple overcome the judgment caused by their cross-cultural match?
Oh, huge drama going on over here.
Okay, so she's butch and feels judged by the Indians. Is that what I'm picking up here? Like, she's not judged by our internet. She's being judged by the Indian culture. Okay, this is an interesting twist. Let's go with that.
Hey, what happened? That
That was a Rock and Iron Maiden shirt,
That's a
though.
total lie. We met on an
I love
app called Plenty of Fish.
They met on POF. They met on POF. Look, I'm not gonna lie, man. If you can stick a bag over her head, her backside's not that bad. Look at that.
Thank you. Shukriya. I would describe it as love at first sight. Yes, I mean, we were already discussing marriage by like the second
date we were.
We met October 2nd, 2018. We married by November 27th, 2018.
You're my edgy American girl.
Yeah.
Really? They got married that fucking quick? Wow.
With less than 2 months between meeting and tying the knot, these lovebirds never had a
Now, okay, so this is what I want to judge, right? I want to judge you. You fucking married a woman after 2 months? Please tell me you had a fucking prenup. Now, I don't know if you needed a prenup, but please tell me you had a prenup. 2 months? Jesus.
doubt about what direction their relationship was headed in. But what they hadn't predicted was where their relationship would lead them physically.
I was born in a small town of India called Saranpur.
Saranpur.
So we came to India because he was working from home in USA for India, and they told him if he didn't come back to India that you'll lose your job. It was quite a culture shock coming here at first, but you get used to it. Even like going in a tuk-tuk for the first time was insane, or seeing cows walk
beep,
down
beep,
the street.
beep, beep. Cows walking down the
It's
street.
a little bit crazy, but it's where my babe's from.
Arriving back in Harjot's home country, Kelly was surprised
Hey now, that's an Irish queen you're talking about there, Sanglant. Rest in peace, Sinead O'Connor. Cheers.
by the reaction their interracial relationship would be met with by those around them.
People stare all the time, especially if I'm wearing shorts. I guess it's the short hair and the tattoos and kind of the edgy look.
Oh, yeah.
It's totally different.
I'm very conscious where I have to take her. We
Oh, imagine
openly
that.
Show our
Imagine
affection
that.
to each other in public.
With some members of the public being more vocal than others.
What happened? Why won't you tell me? About what? Hey!
What's going on? She should go somewhere else.
What the happened? Babe,
Huge drama going on over here.
babe, what happened?
Oh,
What
they're
happened?
filming her.
He was talking.
About what, me?
Yeah, you're like,
Why?
oh, she's like showing off her body. I was like, she's just wearing.
I'm
clothes.
dressed.
Yeah. He said, this is our land. Who gave you permission?
Well, I
was
mean,
like,
your
am from
pants
this
are
city.
ripped.
There you go. That's the
Like,
kind of
where's some
judgment you
pants that
take
don't
even
have
when your
wrists?
body's fully clothed.
Oh, you are showing off her body over here. So it's like disgrace for our culture that she's just displaying
Well,
her
do-
body in public. And I was like, how?
Well, do women in India usually wear ripped jeans, or do they wear those robes?
Is she displaying her
I
body?
mean,
in
let's
public?
look at the other
In addition
women.
to the judgment the couple face in their
Oh,
day-to-day
there aren't
lives,
very many.
they've had further issues to contend with. When members of Harjot's family disapproved of their match.
Still looking
In
for
terms
women
of
in the
his
background
family
here.
and marrying him, no, I didn't know it was going to be so hard. So, breaking the news that he
Newsflash: when you walk down the aisle and utter the words "for better or for worse," it can fucking get worse.
just came to visit to USA, and then all of a sudden, he's marrying a white chick within, a month or two of meeting her. It was quite the shocker.
I think we're gonna be here
Okay, so there's a woman in a
5
dress
or
walking
6
by.
more months. Yeah, we are just waiting for my green card.
Just adapting to an entire other lifestyle. I love it, but
So in the chat, I want everybody in the chat. I won't put your comment on screen. Just let me know. Do you think the 3-month marriage was because she thought that if they were married that he might get to stay in the US? Do you think that was part of the deal? Do you think maybe she thought she could keep him in the US and they wouldn't have to move to India? Curious. Just a thought.
I definitely miss home.
She's fucking miserable. She's fucking miserable.
Harjot's mom, she's really sweet. She came to our wedding.
See, this is what women in the West don't fucking get, right? They talk about how bad men are, how evil we are in the West, how we're a patriarchy of Christian white males, when we're literally one of the most diverse cultures that allow the most widespread behavior that you could have. And then someone like this goes and is surrounded by a culture of people who literally judge her for the way she's dressed. You know, if she was arrested, right? Do you think the cops in India would care what she's wearing? Do you think she would have the freedom?
In USA, she brought me a sari, she brought me jewelry, she brought me this bracelet. So she's really sweet. I would say the biggest thing for us is language barrier. She doesn't know English and I don't really know Hindi.
While Harjot's mum is slowly coming around.
Oh, wait a minute. You married the woman's son and you still haven't learned the language. You moved to her country and you still haven't learned the language. That would be, look, if I was in a multicultural relationship to where I knew that I would have to travel, I would be, at the very least, I would have the Google Translate going. I'd be learning as much as I could. Yeah, Singlet says, I bet the other women there were covering their hair. Yeah. Or at the very least, keeping it tied back. Now, granted, she has no hair to tie back. But that's part of the multicultural issue here, right?
Around to the match. Relations with his dad aren't quite as easy.
Are you ready to meet Papa?
I'm a bit
See,
scared.
look at how she's
Are
dressed
you
now.
excited?
No, I'm
Why didn't she go to the market
more
dressed
scared
like
than
that?
you.
Huh? Why couldn't she have gone to the market dressed like that? I bet she wouldn't have gotten snide judgmental comments about that.
Today, Harjot and Kelly are going to visit his parents to try and work through some of their disapproval.
When I spoke to my dad, like I can see his main concern was, okay, she's not Indian, and
Well,
he's
yeah,
from a generation where stereotype is inbuilt. So he had that fear that this woman won't be a family person, and that's why I think he's more projected towards this marriage.
I'm so anxious.
Is he insinuating
Yeah, I
that
know.
his dad wanted him to bang a family member? He's like, we're judged for being inbred. And then I think that's why my dad's mad.
That all gonna be fine, don't worry. It's been 10-11 months. There's a bit of improvements, so maybe
Now
this
he's
time
wearing
it
the
will go
Iron
well.
Maiden shirt.
All is not lost yet, but I will keep trying to make a peace with my dad.
So this is, I hate these segments on Love Don't Judge when it's like, let's take the friend or the family member and put them on the spot in front of cameras and make them out to be a fucking bigot. You fucking bigot.
So
And then
how's
they're all,
Papa feeling
I actually love
about
you.
us
Everything's
these
fine.
days?
I accept you for who
अरे
you are.
पापा
And,
को
and
ना कल
every
पता
fucking
चला तुम
time.
लोग आ रहे हो तो मुझे बाद में उन्होंने ये बोला कि मैं रुड़की जा रहा हूँ छोटे ब्रदर के पास तुम्हारे चाचा के पास अब मुझे नहीं मालूम कोई काम था या वैसे ही घर से गए हैं नाराजगी के कारण ये नहीं मालूम
He didn't show up. He didn't fucking
हो
show
सकता है
up.
शाम
Holy
तक आ
shit.
जाएं
I just ate my own
हाँ
words.
देख लो शाम तक क्या पता आ जाए ज्यादा दूर नहीं है रुड़की पास में ही है
Where is he?
He has gone to Chacha's house in Roorkee.
Why?
I don't know. Maybe he just avoided,
So he's trying to avoid me for us.
and we especially came here just to meet.
Dad
That's
bounced
awkward.
the fuck out knowing
I
he
don't
was
feel good
being
about
set
this at
up.
all now.
Based fucking Indian
I
dad.
really wish that Papa would have been here today, but you know, we're making baby steps going forward. And yeah, I think we're on the way to reconciliation.
Yeah, but you're not making
Papa
Indian
said-
baby steps.
On
अच्छा
me?
बोलेगी अच्छा बोलेगी बड़े अपने आप ठीक हो जाते हैं फिर
I'm
हाँ
scared.
Eventually come
Starting a
around.
family will bring us together. I think after me
I
and
think-
Kelly having a kid,
Look. I think the mom was right. I think the dad will eventually come around, but you got to take some steps to help. Like first, try learning the fucking language, or at least enough to where you can connect with these people. You need to show that you're not a selfish woman. Like every man wants to know that. Like I could understand it. I could totally understand it. This guy's son is dating a Westerner. Is in love with a Westerner. Is married a Westerner. Has adopted another culture as his own. And this idea of, well, his wife doesn't care about our culture, doesn't care about our traditions, doesn't care about our history, doesn't care enough about my son and his history and his heritage to even learn the fucking language. Like you start taking those steps to respect where your husband came from, you'll do wonders to warm up the dad. Guaranteed.
I think my
All
dad will
parents
be
just want their
supportive
kids'
too.
lovers
Yeah.
to be right
This
for
is
them
try
and good for
करेंगे.
them.
I'm scared to be pregnant and be
Okay,
a mom. It's
okay.
scary.
What pregnant?
And you look like an Indian prince.
Although the couple still have work to do, their relationship with their in-laws is improving day by day.
I just want to know where they poop. Where do they poop? Do they have a toilet?
You got this for me. Thank you.
They never answer the important questions
She
on
said
Love
she would
Don't
come to
Judge.
USA to help us take care of our kid, and that she would convince Papa to come eventually too. So I'm feeling better.
Wait, so she's
And no
going to
matter
go
what
without
hurdles
her
life may
husband
throw at them, they've never doubted their choice
when her
of
son
life
can't even
partner.
get his green card?
I love him to death. He's really loyal. He's crazy fun like me. Like we'll go to any country, to any place, to any event, do anything together. So we really fit each other's personality.
Yeah, you are my wife. Yeah, that's it. I love you.
I love you.
Yeah.
They look like they're in
And he had
love.
to
I'm not
accept it.
judging them for their
Yeah, that
love.
we are
I'm
together
judging
now.
her for not adapting to the culture she's living in. And she married into. Okay, so yeah, that was Love Don't Judge. Oh, it started playing another one. Stop that. Go away. Okay. So yeah, that was the Love Does Admonish segment. That was an interesting one. That was kind of a change up from all the threesomes and perverts and transgenders. So yeah, that's going to be our show for today. I would beg you all, please click that thumbs up button below. Or if you're on X, the heart. Please click the heart if you're on X. Click the thumbs up if you're on Rumble or YouTube. I really appreciate those likes. Sanglan86 says Hindi is a difficult language, though. Well, okay. Well, then maybe the hot guy with an Indian histories might not be right for you, lady. It's called stepping up to the challenge. Look, if I don't care how hard a language is, I would do my best. I would do my best to at least get the important parts down. Try to get, look at phrases that relate to my job and my life and relate to family interactions. Like, would you like me to wash the dishes? I would learn that in Hindi at least. I would learn your son has such a beautiful father in Hindi, right? Those things go a long way to showing mom and dad how committed you are to this, to at least interacting with their culture. But you're living there, you're dating the man, you're married to the man, and you're still living as a westernized person. Yeah, again, it's a little disrespectful in my opinion. Okay, so yeah, click the like button. If you're new here, click subscribe, watch a second video, or share on another platform, or please do all three if you can. Watching second video really helps the algorithm by saying, hey, this person liked me enough to go watch another video. The algorithms really like that, so please check that out. There are lots of videos in my history that are pretty fun, such as Mild's shop class, where I explored big old fake titties. See, Yafat Fuka says, I want to go to clown college, then join lawyers bar because they are clowns. Yeah. Yeah. Too many lawyers are clowns. I don't envy lawyers, just the ones on YouTube. Just the ones on YouTube, because they're making bank. Down in the description on Rumble and YouTube should be links to all my other video platforms and social media. You can give me a follow on any of those to be updated when I'm going live. But usually when I go live, it's going to be 6 p.m. Central Time, Wednesday or Saturday. So during this exact time frame, every Wednesday and Saturday. I'm not going to lie, I'm exploring potentially a change in schedule, especially since now the Quartering and Styx Hex and Hammer are going to be streaming Wednesday afternoons together. And but I'm not quite sure what changes I'm going to make just yet. So be on the lookout. I'm considering it, but I'm not pulling the trigger for quite some time. Yafat Fuka says, government the big top circus. Yep. Sanglan 86, legal eagle with a B is a moron. Yep. Cheers to that. This is going to be the last of it. Cheers, everybody. Have a good one. All right. So yeah, catch me here, 6 p.m. Central. Join the chat. We'll toast along together. We'll drink as we explore the craziness of the world around us. And every Wednesday we do the gender crazy of the week. And every Saturday we do Love Does Admonish. Wow. Okay. So yeah, follow me on all the social media, hit the like, subscribe, and all that. All right. I'll catch you folks next time. Until then, take care of yourselves and each other. Outlast the haters. Don't get any on you. And if you do, rub that shit in real good. Catch you next time on Miles Culture Play. Good night, everybody. Have a wonderful weekend.